Hi, it's Stephen and Dennis again, back again for another wine tasting in the beautiful Domaine de Cromay, the home of Eldon Selections and BurgundyWine.com. And today we are going to explore a wine that has Bouzeron on the label. And Bouzeron is a village in the Côte Chardonnay, one of the 5 villages that have the right to put their name on the bottle. But Bouzeron is a little bit different because Chardonnay is not the main grape variety. When you see Bouzeron on the bottle, it means you're tasting a grape called aligote. And this grape, aligote, is experiencing a real renaissance here in Burgundy at the moment.
Well, renaissance, yes. I mean, to say it's going through a renaissance implies that there was a golden age. I mean,
very good.
I mean, aligote has always been the second grape, second white grape of Burgundy, and in most cases, it was if you had a decent vineyard, that was apt for white grapes, you'd plant it in Chardonnay, and if you had if you had a vineyard that really wasn't productive at all down at the bottom of the slopes in flat and clay kind of thing, you'd put in your aligote. So aligote became known as a sort of hard grape. As a matter of fact, the Burgundian cocktail called a kir, supposedly was invented by the mayor of Dijon, whose name was Kir, and he would take the sort of hard, sour aligote, acidic, and add creme de cassis, blackcurrant syrup to it, and to make it more palatable. But these days,
and certainly
when Stephen says renaissance, it really is that there are some young producers now who are looking for vineyards that they can afford. They're going up into the hills. They're planting aligote up there and giving it respect, putting it into vineyards that really are worthwhile.
And the thing about Bouzeron is the vineyards of aligote have been planted in the premium spots within the village. It's the other vineyards, the Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, that maybe aren't on the mid slope, but in where aligote is allowed to shine, it really does promote these great wines.
If you give it a good vineyard and drainage and that sort of thing. This was the whole Bouzeron thing was the project of the senior statesman of Burgundy, Aubert de Villaine, who's one of the owners of Domaine Romanée-Conti, and he has his family winery is in Bouzeron. Yeah. And he decided he took this on as his project. He planted the original quality aligote. There are two varieties. Two varieties of aligote. There's the doré and normal aligote. Yeah. But he got all of the other vignerons in. There aren't that many really, but he got the other winemakers in Bouzeron to come along with him, and he supplied them with the
massal.
Yeah, explain a bit about that.
Yeah. So it's so he had these original cuttings, original plants, and rather than doing what a lot of businesses would do and keeping them and marketing them for yourself, he done the complete opposite. And to help allow Bouzeron to shine, he has given use of these vines with this method called massal, where they bend over the vine and propagate that way rather than cloning, which creates more complexity within the vineyard.
Essentially, you have these days, if you go to a nursery to buy vines, you'll have a selection of a couple of dozen different clones, and they all have different purposes. Some are resistant to moisture, some are really productive, some are produce quality. All of that sort of thing. So winemakers, when they're going in and planting a vineyard, will try and get at least a few different types of clones in there so that they have some variety. The thing about massal is that you're taking cuttings from the original plant. So you go into an old, well-established vineyard and take the cuttings from lots of different plants. So you have lots of different varieties. You're not getting exact clones. Mm-hmm. You still have to graft them onto the rootstock, and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of work involved, but it is the ultimate reflection of quality.
Yeah, and you'll see, like, we have 2 different producers from Bouzeron on Eldon Selections. One is the very well-known Pascal Bourgeot, And interesting for his one, because one of our very favorite Chardonnay vineyards, Clos de la Carbe, is actually not that far away from this village.
Clos de la Carbonade.
Clos de la Carbonade.
That's
yeah.
Chromie talk.
Yeah. Shorthand, sorry. It's actually not that far away from this vineyard, and when you stand the terroir, you can actually see this vineyard from there. And in Domaine Julien Cruchendeau, Bouzeron, you'll see massal written on the label, which is an homage to Aubert de Villaine and the whole process of what's happened.
Julien Cruchendeau started out making wine in Bouzeron, mainly for that very reason. He started out really small, he was a young guy, got the support and of Aubert de Villaine, got to use the aligote doré, massal vines and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But he's now moved up, as we were saying earlier. He's one of those young guys who's moved up into the Haute Côte, looking for decent vineyard land that's affordable to run. And he's got several different plots of aligote up there going on now. So he started with that, and that's how we met him. I met him at the 20th anniversary of the birth of the Appellation of Bouzeron.
I think the Appellation was created in 97, so it was about 3 years ago. Yeah. And I think Julien Cruchendeau's story and his wine making, it just shows everything that's good about Burgundy in the last, couple of decades.
You like him because he's a DJ.
He's a DJ, and he said to me that he comes at food from a culinary angle. Yeah. He started off as a chef, was cooking a lot, and that was his passion. Moved into food and kind of thinks about the wine from a ingredients point of view.
We have a local restaurant here in Saint-Léger that are good friends with Julien, and every time we go in there, we order Julien's wine, and they say, "Don't you want to try something else?" It's like, no, we just want to have Julien's wine.
Yeah, it's great. So we're so lucky with these two great producers that we have in the village, and Julien also produces an aligote from outside Bouzeron. So if a
couple now,
as
a matter of fact, 3. I talked to him the other day. He's planting a third aligote plot.
Really interesting. So that's the thing, and like on decent terroir now. Yeah. So like that's the point. It's not the forgotten terroir.
Well, tell them about the aligoteurs.
Oh yeah, so check out our YouTube channel. We're always asking you to do that, but really do that for this one, because this band of kind of aligote enthusiasts, that's a polite way of putting it, have come together, and there's a brilliant rap song that's been made about the aligoteurs, and check it out on our YouTube channel. Watching it will do much better. It will sound much better than me trying to do it.
Yeah.
But if aligote is grown outside Bouzeron, the interesting thing is, it's typical Burgundy. If you see Bouzeron on their label, it's aligote, but they don't write aligote. You just have to know that the village of Bouzeron, it's Burgundy. But if it's grown outside the village of Bouzeron, they will put Bourgogne Aligoté on the label. That's the AOC that's applicable. So really, it won't be our last visit to Bouzeron or discussion about aligote, because as Dennis said, there's 3 more versions coming from Julien Cruchendeau, and we'll be revisiting them at some stage.
It's all the buzz here right now. Anyway, chef, tell them about the food.
Well, it was an interesting one because I'm a newbie into Burgundy from Dennis's status. I'm only here 3 years as opposed to over 30. But so I'm still devouring French onion soup and loving it and trying to perfect it and adding and removing and all this kind of thing. So the wine was interesting because we kind of like it with lots of different wines, but we were looking for something to really cut through the richness, and we hadn't tried Bouzeron with it. And Dennis, one evening, I was talking about my trials and tribulations with French onion soup, and you were saying, well, how about trying it with Bouzeron? So we did, and it worked brilliantly. So we use a little bit to cook the soup out,
a little bit to drink,
and it's like the soup is a bit like the wine. It's all about getting that balance, and so that recipe is also on our YouTube channel, which pairs with this, and the recipe will be on our recipes page of our website. So that's this journey of Bouzeron Aligoté, Domaine Bourgeot, Domaine Cruciendo.
There you go. And you know where to find it.
Yeah, our YouTube channel, our Facebook page,
and
our
www.burgundywine.com.
Thank you very much, Stephen and Dennis. We'll see you again
All the best
soon.
from Burgundy.
Cheers.